Streaming all across the country, from Washington State to South Beach and the Northeast to the deserts of Arizona, to dive into all things football. You're listening to the B&E Podcast. Here's your hosts, Ed Donaldson and Brandon Simpson.
8 games in the early window. 3 games will follow Sunday afternoon. Ed, he's going to sleep in because his team will be featured on Sunday Night Football, and it all wraps up in Arlington with Cardinals and Cowboys. Ed, I'm not sure if you saw any of the Norfolk State, Delaware State game. It was run the same time as the Ravens game Thursday night. It was a close one. Playing the highlights now on the screen. We mentioned the Tuesday show. Delaware State was the home team. They're wearing red. Norfolk is in white. The run game was really hot for the Hornets. They played good special teams as well. Y'all see the punt block there, deep in their own territory, and then DSU, of course, is led by Deshaun Jackson, former Commander, former Eagle, and Norfolk State led by Mike Vick, former Falcon, former Eagle, as well. 2 great players in the National Football League. Delaware State University, they won 27-20. It was kind of more of a blowout there for a while. Norfolk State came back towards the end. They're now 6-3. DSU, the Hornets, and the Norfolk State Spartans, they are 1-8. Did you see any of it? Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I saw the highlights. I didn't know the game was being played yesterday until after the game was over, to be honest with you. But I saw the highlights. Good win for Delaware State. Like you said, doing good so far this season, 6-3. Norfolk State, not too much. They only got 1 win for Mike Vick and his team. But shout out to them just for getting more exposure. Both of these guys are high-profile individuals, bringing some exposure to these schools. Hopefully they get some more money, especially Norfolk State. As far as a team, they get a little better and play better next year. But yeah, shout out to both of these teams, man. Like you said, they played in the Eagle Stadium. I'm sure that was good for everybody there. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, and also I saw that First Take was at the campus of Delaware State University early this week, and Clinton Portis is actually a running backs coach for Delaware State, which I had no idea until I saw that. But yeah, shout out to him, Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Eddie George. He's now at Bowling Green State University. He was at Texas State. That's the HBCU. And of course, Dion, he was at can't remember the one down Jackson State University for years, and of course he's now at Colorado. So it's good to see the former players that we grew up watching now on the big stage, coaching young guys in college football.
Yeah, Eddie George is at Tennessee State, but yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, let's get this opening drive started, shall we? The Patriots have traded their defensive end Keon White to the 49ers. Tight end Mercedes Lewis is signing with the Broncos. Lions defensive end Aiden Hutchinson is signing a 4-year, $180 million extension with $140 million dollars guaranteed. Salute to him. The Saints plan to start Tyler Shuck for the remainder of the season. The Eagles have sent wide receiver John Mechie the third, to the Jets for cornerback Michael Carter II. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, is out for Sunday's game against the Seahawks. CJ Gardner-Johnson has signed with the Bears. Bengals defensive tackle McKinley Jackson has requested to be traded or released. He joins linebacker Logan Wilson, who also requested a trade earlier this month. Travis Hunter is now on injury reserve after suffering a non-contact knee injury at practice on Thursday also. Excuse me.
Wow, I didn't hear about that Travis Hunter injury. Very interesting. Okay. All right, my Ravens handed the Dolphins their 7th loss of the season last night in South Beach. Ed, the final score was 28-6.
Yeah, man, y'all pretty much dominated this game, especially after halftime. It was kind of close the first half, but y'all defense was able to make plays. Kyle Hamilton, he forced a fumble. I can't remember if it was the running back he stripped, but Dolphins had some opportunities. They got to the red zone like 4 times, but y'all were just able to make some stops. And, Dolphins being the Dolphins, they missed a field goal in like PAT type range. So, just wasn't a good game for the Dolphins. started to hear some boos. They had another fumble in the second half. I think it was Malik Washington who fumbled the ball, and Lamar Jackson was back playing in his home city, Miami, or that surrounding area. Threw 3 touchdowns to the tight end, had one to Rashad Bateman as well. Pretty good performance from you guys. The defense is starting to play a little better. And I was watching last night on the screen. They said even though y'all in third place in the AFC North, y'all are like got a 51% chance. So the best chance out of everybody in that division to win the division. So everyone still thinks y'all are going to be the winner of that division when it's all said and done, especially if Lamar can remain healthy and you guys can stay healthy on defense. I saw Kyle Hamilton went down for a second there. I think it was the first half, but he was able to continue to play. So, yeah, good win for you guys, but very interested to hear what you got to say about this.
Yeah, Dolphins fans, they'd have a fair argument to say that they kind of gave us this game. Here's why. Rookie wide receiver Taj Washington, he fumbled at their own 4-yard line. They was backed up, set us up for that first touchdown to Mark Andrews. 4th and 1, they lined up for it a little bit later to go for it. They had a false start. Mike McDaniel was hot. He's usually a coach that kind of wears a straight face composure, but he was fuming after that one. They ended up having to go for a field goal, and Patterson missed the field goal. So you had insult to injury on that play. You had the false start on 4th and 1. You probably had a good play, and then you missed the field goal. Later in the third quarter, they had a nice drive going. It's 4th and 2. They're in our territory. Tua throws it to nobody in the end zone. Guess he thought Darren Waller was out there, honestly, because he has some height. But A-Chain and Kyle Hamilton, they were the closest, and they was probably about a good 3 yards over A-Chain on that play. Tua nearly threw an interception to Roquan Smith in the 4th quarter as well. A few plays later, Malik Washington, he fumbled. Marlon Humphrey recovered that one. And then the nail in the coffin, right around the halfway part of the 4th quarter, Tua heaved the ball deep to Washington. Starks was there and got it for his first career interception. It was just a long night for the Dolphins, man. Make matters worse, the refs even, in my opinion, they called a bad play on that tripping on Ollie Gordon. And I don't know if you saw that. He was kind of fired up on the sideline. That he even got called for it. Like there was a player. It was he wasn't dressed up, but must have been on IR or something. But he was following Gordon back and forth as they had the camera on him because he was just that hot that he got called for he kind of like slipped on the play, fell backwards, and it wiped out a monster 36-yard catch to Jalen Waddle. But hats off to their defense, honestly, especially in the first half. Our former player and position coach, Anthony Weaver, he's now their defense coordinator, been there for, I believe, this is his 2nd year, if I'm not mistaken. They held us to 109 yards compared to their 226 in the first half, despite the fact we had those 2 touchdowns. They were very short touchdowns. They did a great job of stopping our run game early on. Henry was probably averaging about 2 yards per carry in the first half. Now I got to pivot to Rashad Bateman, man. We had a 2nd quarter drive. Bradley Chubb, he sacked Lamar on 1st down. 2nd down was a minimal game, and then came 3rd down. LJ overthrew Bateman. Rashad got mad. I guess he thought he was going to get that PI call, and he was still jawing at the ref. He wasn't near the ref, but he was enough to get, an unsportsmanlike conduct. We still got the field goal out of the play because it wasn't, it didn't knock us out of field goal range, but we don't need that moving forward, Bate. And he's not a guy that really gets fired up like that. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, none of our wide receivers are like that. But got to have that short memory in the NFL. A lot of players talk about it all the time. Just move on to the next play. Don't put your team at risk with those unnecessary bonehead type penalties because it could hurt us in the future against a better team. But second half adjustments, man. 2nd straight game, we succeeded in that category, in my opinion. We're going to run the ball pretty good after halftime. Derrick Henry finished with over 100 yards right on the final plays of the game, and we started to stop the run as well, which they were pretty good in the first half. Nate Wiggins, I told y'all on Tuesday's show, he came out and said something to the terms of no wide receiver could match up against him. Well, the first play, Jalen Waddle did. I was kind of nervous after that one. I was like, damn, like he needs to stop talking. And then he gave him the works honestly throughout the first half and a little bit in the second half too. And so did Devontae Adams a couple weeks ago before the bye week, and so did Roma Dunze on Sunday. So my message to Nate Wiggins: just let your play do the talking on the field. Like I don't mind you talking on the field, but don't do it in the media. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody can see it and it's like bulletin board material. Do it on the field. Ain't nobody gonna get it unless you mic'd up with somebody else like that. But overall, I feel like this is a complete team win. Offense scored touchdowns and not field goals. That's good. That's always good. Defense kept them without a touchdown and created turnovers. And special teams coverage was much better than it has been at any point this season. Um, I've talked about it before. We tend to give up big gains on special teams, kicks and punt returns, and they set up at the 35, 40-yard line, give or take on average. And that's just damn near shortening the field in half at that point. So we were able to keep them backed up. Yes, they did get some drives going, but when you can have a team backed up to start in general, it kind of, after a while, it does get demoralizing to the opposing team. So it's good to have a couple extra days off. We got to prepare for Minnesota at US Bank Stadium, second Sunday in November. Pretty good defense to play. I always talk about Brian Flores, so I'm looking forward to that one, seeing how that one goes. But yeah, good all around team win. But the Dolphins did make a lot of mistakes to help us out in this one.
Yeah, before we go on, definitely want to talk about the I forgot all about the Bateman penalty. In my opinion, they talked about a little bit on the broadcast too. He started complaining even before the ball hit the ground. He should have continued to finish through his route. That was something else I didn't really like about that play, but I definitely agree with you on that. And the Ollie Gordon one, they showed it too as he was getting back to the sideline. I think it might have been his running backs coach, but he was yelling at him. And I think that really set him off to start going a little, getting emotional stuff on the sideline. Because as soon as he got to the which, I mean, like you said, he slipped on that play and he didn't try to trip the guy. He just slipped. So I kind of get where he's coming from. He was like, what you want me to do if you slip? And then you got the coach yelling at him as soon as you get on the sideline. Like, what the hell you want me to do? But yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely wasn't intentional tripping at all. And I'm a Ravens fan, obviously. Bad call for the refs in that one. So I hope they have some explaining to do moving forward.
I ain't gonna say a good thing about it.
Yeah, I know. Jim Nance and Tony Romo, he'll be on the call. Those two will be on the call for Chiefs Bills for the final time at Highmark Stadium. Of course, the Bills are getting a new stadium in 2020, later this year. Next year, 2026. Kickoff is Sunday at 4:25, but let's hear Ed's thoughts first.
Yeah, man. Chiefs coming off a good win against my Commanders. Wondering how they do against the Bills. Regular season, the Bills pretty much got the Chiefs number. They're 4-1 against the Chiefs. They got James Cook coming off a monster game, 200 yards against the Panthers. I think he'll be a big key for them if they have any chance to win this game because that Chiefs defense is pretty good. I have a feeling that the receivers for the Bills might have a tough time out there. I do like Khalil Shakir. I do like the Titans as well, specifically Dalton Kincaid. But I think that Chiefs secondary is pretty good. They might give the Bills receivers a hard time out there. So I'm looking for my guy James Cook to do some things out there as far as running the ball. And then, of course, Josh Allen, he's going to scramble, extend the play, make plays, probably scramble for yards on his own. But definitely want to see how that matchup between the Bills receivers and the Chiefs secondaries looks out there. As far as the Chiefs and their offense, Rashee Rice comes back, and I mean that offense is taking off. They were a little rusty in the first half against my Commanders, and if you make those same type of mistakes, throwing interceptions, tip passes, balls flying off your hands against the Bills, I think they would definitely capitalize against it better than my Commanders did. So if the Chiefs come out sloppy like they did in the first half against the Commanders, they do the same thing as the Bills. I definitely see the Bills getting up on them and doing some things and putting the Chiefs in a hole. But overall, I really like the Chiefs defense a little bit more than I like the Bills defense. I think especially, Karlaftis, Chris Jones, and those guys, I think they'll make Josh Allen get off his spots a little bit and do things do a little bit more than he wants to do or needs to do. Trying to extend the play and actually force him into a mistake where he throws a turnover, either fumble or an interception. I can definitely see that happening, but I got a feeling James Cook is going to continue to run like he did, even though, the Chiefs did do good against the Commanders and stopping the run. I really like James Cook this year. He's been doing really good. I feel like the Bills have finally realized, hey, we got a good running back here. Let's not all put it on Josh Allen. Let's give James Cook an opportunity to look like a top back in the league. And they've been doing that so far. So if the Bills can run the ball against the Chiefs, I like their chances. But at the same time, I think the Chiefs defense is a little bit better than the Bills defense. And I'm saying that because I think Rashee Rice and I think Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, all those guys can put up some points against the Bills. Even though they did blow out the Panthers, they were playing Andy Dalton. They sacked him about 7 times. I'm not sure they'll get to Patrick Mahomes as much. I think he'll be able to run too. He's really good at extending plays as well. Good playmaker as well. So this is a tough one for me, man. It's still a toss-up for me. I want to lean towards the Bills, though, but I just can't count the Chiefs out right now. But like I said, I think it all depends on James Cook and how successful he is. What are your thoughts?
So Buffalo went defense on 5 out of their 9 draft picks for this series. They also went out and signed Joey Bosa, and they bought back Tre'Davious White for this series. Speaking of the draft, man, look out for Tre'Davious White. Maxwell Harrison. I said Tre'Davious White because watching the Hard Knocks series training camp, they was comparing Maxwell, the rookie first rounder, to Tre'Davious White. He had his rookie debut last week. He had been banged up since training camp. He only had 1 tackle. He's not starting, but I think he'll match up well if he does come up against Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy, the 2 faster ones on the team. And of course, Hollywood can still, run with the best of them as well. So I think the performance that Buffalo had last week, you mentioned it, multiple sacks, dominated Carolina, shut down their run game. They'll need that again. They put up a 40-bird. James Cook had 216 yards as well on the ground. The defense forced 3 turnovers. They'll need something like that to get a win against Kansas City. Again, you mentioned it. We know this regular season series has gone in favor of the Bills. They're 4-1 in the regular season. Of course, they're winless against Kansas City in the playoffs. So I give Buffalo the edge in this one just for that. But I know Kansas City is going to keep it close. They kept it close last year. And I think also the status of Pacheco is going to factor in this one as well. Last I knew, he was questionable. So we'll see how that goes. They haven't necessarily run the ball well, but he's someone that you always mention as, someone to watch for when you're watching the Kansas City Chiefs offense, especially in the backfield there. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills in a close one, but also watch. They may need a play like last year. I think it was Josh Allen late in the 4th quarter, and he took that run in for the touchdown. I think it was like somewhere between 15 and 25 yards out, and that kind of sealed the game there because Kansas City kept it close in that one too. So we may need a heroic type play out of the reigning MVP to get a win, but I'm going to go with the Bills at home. Again, they're closing out Highmark Stadium in this series that's been really good in the regular season, even really good in the playoffs too. So we'll see how it goes for sure.
All right, we got the Falcons traveling to Foxborough. Everybody remembers, of course, 28-3 when you think of Falcons and Patriots. But Brandon, what are your thoughts on this upcoming matchup?
Yeah, man, New England just has this swag with them under Mike Vrabel. They come in tied with Denver for the longest win streak in the National Football League at 5. On the other side, we got to see which Falcons team is going to show up. Will it be the one from the last 2 weeks that scored a combined 20 points, as well as the shutout probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago against Carolina on the road? Or do we see the same type of team that beat Buffalo and Washington? That is the question for me as far as Atlanta goes. Drake May, he's been really good at throwing the deep ball this year, so I'd imagine Josh McDaniels isn't going to change a thing. They're going to try to attack this secondary, but I think that Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, they could have big afternoons against Atlanta. They've got a combined 5 touchdowns between the two of them. And at the same time, I think Ramondre Stevenson, he could be also in for a strong game as well. Atlanta's defense, they've been struggling mightily against the running backs all season. They faced Christian McCaffrey, Rico Dottle. Those didn't go well. Even Chris Rodriguez of the Commanders, he had a solid game with a limited amount of carries when I went back and looked at it. So uh, looks like Michael Penix will be back for this one. They had some really bad flashbacks Atlanta fans did with Kirk Cousins last week. Um, and can we get Bijan Robinson going? That's another factor for Atlanta in this game. We know this Atlanta offense is powered by number 7. He's a do-it-all guy. So at the end of the day, the Patriots are just playing too good football right now. I think they'll be too much for Atlanta. But I will say this. New England hasn't played their best football at home. They've lost, I think, both of their losses, I believe, are at home. So the Falcons could possibly sneak out without a W, but I'm with a W, excuse me. But I'm going to go with the Patriots. How do you feel about this one?
As far as the Patriots Falcons, I agree with you. Like you said, the Patriots on a 5-game win streak, even being sacked 5 times against the Browns, and specifically Myles Garrett. Drake May last week against the Browns able to throw 3 touchdowns and over 280 yards in the air. That offense has been rolling the last 2 games, back-to-back games, over 30 points per game for the Patriots. So I'm looking to see, this week for the Patriots, who's going to be that guy. It's kind of been like a committee. You got Stephon Diggs, both of the tight ends, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, and then Keyshawn Boot is another receiver for the Patriots as well. If anybody in particular is going to step over, it's going to be another one of those games where everybody gets involved. It gets a thing going. I'm not sure Ramondre Stevenson is going to be playing for the Patriots this week, so we might see a little bit more of a Travion Henderson out there for the Patriots. But as far as the Falcons, man, that loss against the Dolphins, even though, they had Kirk Cousins out there, was really bad. That defense, I think the injuries there are starting to get on the defensive side of the ball. Like Divine Diablo, he's on IR right now with a forearm injury, has really taken effect on those guys because they didn't look too good on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not sure, even with Penix coming back, how the offense is going to look. I think if they really have a chance, Kyle Pitts is going to have to get involved because last week against the Browns, Patriots did allow both of the tight ends, Harold Fannin and David Njoku to score. So I'm thinking maybe Kyle Pitts can go in there and do some things as well to kind of help Bijan Robinson out because the last couple of games haven't been good for him. I think the last 2 games he's only had 3 yards per carry, which is not that good. Looking to see him bounce back. And same thing for Drake London. But with Penix, man, he's like up and down. He hasn't really torched anybody yet, in my opinion. I'm not sure he'll be able to do that against the Patriots. Mike Vrabel and those guys are going to have them ready to play. And I talked about Bijan Robinson, but the Patriots' rush defense is pretty good. They only give up about 3 yards per carry themselves. So maybe, a mix of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier can get things going, but they're definitely going to have to get that run game going. And the defense is going to certainly have to improve for the Falcons to have any chance. But I don't know. The Patriots seem to be rolling right now. They're going to be playing at home. I like the Patriots in this one, but you never know the Falcons, man. 1 week they come out there, blow somebody out. Who was it they shut out? Who was it they shut out? They shut out somebody. Or maybe they got shut out. They definitely got shut out by the Panthers, but
Carolina shut them out, yeah.
I feel like they whooped somebody ass earlier this year too, but I don't know. Falcons are kind of iffy for me, but I'm gonna go with the Patriots in this one. So we'll definitely see what happens. Oh God, another primetime game for us. They got us on Sunday Night Football. They just had us on Monday Night Football. I mean, damn, we should not. They really gave us a good schedule this year, boy. Commanders taking on the Seahawks will be at home. I'm expecting to hear some boos from the fans. I think it'll be a tough one. The Seahawks defense is really good. The Commanders, we are getting Jaden Daniels back. Kind of concerns me. He got a hamstring injury on one leg. He wearing a knee brace on the other leg. I just hope he can stay upright this game because, like I said, that Seahawks defense, DeMarcus Lawrence and them boys, they come ready to play. And I think they're getting healthy on the defense side of the ball too. Devin Witherspoon, in my opinion, one of their better cornerbacks. He's coming back. They got some other pieces, I think, along the defensive line is coming back as well. So I think it's going to be a long day for the Commanders if they are letting Jaden Daniels get pressured. Get the ball out of his hands early and often. Like to see some screens from Deebo Samuel. Let's put Ben Sinnott in the game, please. I know Zach Ertz is the tried and true veteran, but it's time to start playing some of these young guys, man. Come on. Give the young guys a chance to play the damn game, please. Hopefully, Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt, a.k.a. Bill, is able to rebound. So I think when Jaden Daniels is in there, his dual threat ability, it definitely helps out the run game overall. So I'm hoping to see Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt bounce back because these last couple of weeks, not just him, but the run game as a whole has been shut down. I'm hoping Jaden Daniels can somehow make the run game a little better just because they don't know, is Jaden Daniels going to take off with it? And they make a mistake and the running backs get loose. I'm hoping another scenario like that happens, but I think this is going to be a tough task, especially without Scary Terry out there, our best wide receiver, in my opinion. And then we got to deal with JSN. Him and Sam Darnold has been great. JSN has broken out as a true number one wide receiver in this league. I think we're going to have a tough time with him. Hopefully we get some pressure on Sam Darnold, which is hard because we lost both of our DNs. If everybody remembers, Dietrich Wise and Dorrance Armstrong, we lost both of them for the year. And we've been trying to I've been noticing this week we've been practicing defensive ends, trying to get some people in there. But I think that pass rush is definitely going to have to get after Sam Darnold so we can disrupt whatever him and Jason got going on. I didn't even mention Cooper Kupp, but you know how he does. There's a tight end that you like. You talked about in the past for the Seahawks. But I think it's going to be a tough game, man. Hopefully the defense, the first half, they made some plays. Like I said, Bobby Wagner was able to jump out of his wheelchair and catch an interception. Hopefully these guys, Frankie Louvu and crew, can, do something on the defensive end. Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, Mike Sarenstill, please, man, don't let Jason go off, man. Put a hand on him, put a hat on him, bump him before he breaks out of his route. Do something, man. I'm just hoping. And like I said, on the offense side, Jordan McGee, Kane Madrano, I need to see them play a little bit more. Jacob Martin, the defensive end, he was a guy who got 2 sacks on Patrick Mahomes last week. I need to see him play a little bit more as well. Let's get these young guys in here. Nothing against Bobby Wagner and them. You know how I feel about him and them. But please, let's get these young guys in here. Let them get some reps in because the defense needs it. It can't get any worse. It can, but Lord have mercy on their souls. Please, let's play better. All in all, though, I think it's going to be a tough task to beat these Seahawks, specifically because that defense, the Seahawks defense, is really, really good. And I just hope Jaden Daniels doesn't get injured. I just got painful memories of the playoffs years back when a certain quarterback was at the helms. He got hurt early in the season. We played this team in the playoffs, and the rest after that with that knee injury. I don't even want to mention his name, but I'm just hoping Jaden Daniels is able to stay upright, make some plays. Deebo Samuel, don't eat any popcorn before the game. Maybe put on a little stick on or something. Don't let the ball bounce off your damn hands in your helmet and let the team pick it off. And we somehow go out there and get a win. If we can run the ball, I like our chances, but we'll see. That defense of the Seahawks, like I said, is very concerning to me. Brandon, what's your thoughts?
My. Y'all got JSN, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, and Cooper Kupp coming to town under the lights. I'm going to pray for y'all for sure. Not only is this Seattle team really good, they're first place in the NFC West. They're really good on the road, only giving up about 16 points per game away from their home turf. Everybody will be watching JSN, as you mentioned in this one. Coming off a bye week, he has fresh legs, still leading the league in receiving yards with a week off. So will Joe Witt try to double him? Will they try to press him more at the line of scrimmage or play zone? That's going to factor as well into the run game as well. Because if you double him, that frees up, more than likely going to bring a safety out the box, and that gives more space for the running backs that are already pretty good anyway, no matter what defense they're facing. On the offensive side of the ball for y'all, I think y'all got to keep an eye out for Ernest Jones IV and Uchenna Nwosa. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Both of those guys are sideline to sideline linebackers and have a knack for the quarterback. I think y'all's X factor could though be Zach Ertz. I think he needs to get more involved more because when you all were winning more games last year, especially down the stretch, he was um, really involved there from the tight end position. Um, I'm never too fond of teams going coast to coast and winning, but I think this Seattle team is always prepared. Even back to their days with Pete Carroll and company. Um, you mentioned that defense really good. They are a traveling defense. I think they'll make a statement in this one, even
Mm.
though this is the furthest east that they're traveling. I got to go with the Seahawks in this one on Sunday Night Football.
Oh God.
All right, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures in mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned, so come get some of the sweet temptation and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is www.premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. And now back to our show. November football is here. Carolina will take its vaunted run game into Lambeau Field Sunday. It's Panthers and Packers, Ed.
As I mentioned with the Bills, Panthers let Bills running back James Cook run crazy all over them last week. Now they got Josh Jacobs coming to town. I could definitely see the same type of things happening. Even though he's been limited the last couple of weeks with the calf injury, you never can count him out. The Panthers also got to deal with the Packers defense coming to town. Talked about last week with Andy Dalton getting sacked 7 times. I think Bryce Young is a little bit more mobile than him, so I don't see that being the case, but he's still got to deal with Michael Parsons and Rashawn Gary. So it could be a tough day in the office for Bryce Young if he's able to play. And then hopefully Panthers don't let this game get away from them too quickly like they did against the Bills, because Rico Dowdle has been playing well. Even though he had 8 carries last week, he's been running the ball well. I mean, he had like over 5 yards per carry against the Bills, which is really good. So if they got any chance in hell for them to win this game, Rico and Chuba Hubbard are definitely going to have to run the ball well. But I still like the Packers in this one. I just think Jordan Love, Tucker Kraft, now they got Christian Watson back, which is going to open up the offense even more for the Packers. Will just be too much for the Panthers, in my opinion. I think they're going to be able to run the ball with Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson, and I think they're going to be able to stymie whatever the Panthers try to do out there. If Bryce Young's the quarterback, Andy Dalton's the quarterback, hell, Jake Delhomme could be the quarterback for the Panthers. I don't think it'll be enough for the Panthers right now. Give me the Packers. I'm looking at the screen right now. They're favored by 13.5 points. I respect the Panthers a little bit. I don't know. I think the Panthers can be able to cover that, but I do think the Panthers will lose this game. Packers will win in a comfortable fashion. Give me the Packers in this one. Give me Josh Jacobs scoring multiple touchdowns, maybe one through the air. And I like the Packers pretty much dominate this game. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Carolina is really good, y'all, at home. On the road, it's a different story. I mentioned before Ed started talking, the run game for Carolina is really good. 5th ranked rushing attack. I think they got to use that to their advantage to help slow down that pass rush. You mentioned Rashawn Gary and Michael Parsons. At the same time, the Carolina run game has taken a bit step back since Chuba Hubbard came back. Their last game, I think this is his second game. I think they're entering their 3rd game back, both of them. The last time they were really dominant was the 200-plus yard rushing game against Dallas. So I think Dave Canales is going to try to come out and get that run game back on track, and hopefully it'll help with the play action downfield. Tate McMillan, he's a guy I think that could possibly make a play or two. He has a 6'5" frame, so that's always good in the red area, and I think he'll have some possibilities there on the sideline, possibly with some throws there. Green Bay though, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Jordan Love, that's protecting the ball, that's getting it to Tucker Kraft in space, letting him dominate after the catch. He's a really good at yak. yards after the catch, and then putting Josh Jacobs in scoring position. I think Jacobs has 8 rushing touchdowns on the year, if not more. Um, so do those things, and they'll come out of here with a win. Honestly, I think it'll be easy. What they don't want to do though is kick field goals. My guy Brandon McManus missed 2 field goals Sunday night against Pittsburgh. He's missed 4 in the season. So finish those drives and keep the pressure off number 17, the kicker. Because again, he's not coming off a good game there the last time he played. Go Pack, go. I like Green Bay over Carolina.
All right, we got an AFC matchup as well. Broncos taking on the Texans. Brandon, how you feeling about this one, man?
I like Denver, but not by much. Even though Patrick Surtain is doubtful, I think I give them the edge slightly in this one. On the other side, CJ Stroud, he's been playing really good as of late. I think the difference that has been lately for them is the offensive line is giving him time to get throws off. You know what I'm saying? Make his reads and make good decisions with the football. So on the flip side, when I think of this Denver offense, they remind me of a push lawnmower, y'all. You got to push that primer about 5, 6 times. It's gonna take a while. You got to pull that string, hope it'll start up, and you're gonna get frustrated. But when it does get going, it do its job. We've seen Denver come out in slow starts this year on offense. They started slow against the Giants. They started slow against the Eagles. Um, they got to get going faster against this Houston defense, in my opinion. The Sean Payton run game, we know that J.K. Dobbins is the man. Last week, it was more of an R.J. Harvey show. He had a 3-touchdown performance. I don't think it'll be as easy against DeMeco Ryans defense. And they'll need to be consistent with that run game because Lassiter and Stingley, when Bo Nix has the ball, they'll be waiting for a mistake. Those guys have a knack for the football. Denver, they haven't been away from Mile High, though, in quite some time. It was early October the last time they were away from there, and they was playing Philly. Again, that was another game they was shut out the first 3 quarters, and then they came back to make it a game there later in the fourth quarter. It was, again, kind of the same against the Giants as well. So, yeah, the Broncos, they cannot get off this slow start. That's going to be top priority this week in all their meetings and practice. Houston's defense has been giving up the fewest yards and points per game this season. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards Denver. Again, I know Patrick Surtain is out. I know that's a really big part of that defense, but they do have Riley Moss on the other side, and they have a rookie corner. I believe they drafted in the first round, if not the second round. Hopefully those two can hold it down there. Give me the Broncos. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, man, like you mentioned against that Patriots overview and talking about win streaks, Denver is also on a 5-game winning streak, coming off beating the living breaks off the Cowboys. Bo Nix had 4 touchdowns in that game, and they put up 44 points. They might have a tougher time against the Texans, as you mentioned. Texans got the number 1 scoring defense. I like Denver's offense against the Texans defense more than I like Texans offense against Denver's defense. Denver has been protecting Bo Nix really good this year, and they'll need to do the same thing against the Texans, though. They got Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter coming to town, man. I really like Cortland Sutton. I think he's going to do his thing, but I need to see what guys like Troy Franklin, the rookie wide receiver, Pat Bryant, how they're going to fare against this Texans defense. If they're able to, do good, I like the Broncos' chances of winning. And then, of course, they got the rushing attack, the 2 guys, R.J. Harvey, second-round pick for the Broncos this year, and J.K. Dobbins, who's doing really good this year. They both had pretty good games against the Cowboys. If those guys can run the ball, I definitely like the Broncos' chances against these Texans defense. The Texans offense, surprising to me, man, we talk about that O-line, how it's been bad most of this year. They didn't take any sacks against the Niners last week. Stroud didn't get sacked once. So if they can, protect Stroud this game, that'd be really good. But that's a tough task, man. I think the Broncos are sacking the quarterback the most out of everyone by like a wide margin. I want to say they got like 36 sacks so far for this defense this year. Nick Bonito, a guy you talk about a lot. They got a lot of weapons on that defensive side of the ball. Like you mentioned, though, Pat Surtain being doubtful, I really want to see if he's not able to play the impact and how that's going to be on the Broncos defense. Sorry, you want to say something?
Oh,
Sorry, I saw you pin up. My fault. Anyway, the Texans, I need to see the offense. Those rookie wide receivers they had, Higgins and Noel. How are they going to do against this Broncos defense? Because I think Nico Collins, they're going to try to game plan to take him out. I know he was out last week, so I don't see him on an injury report right now. But you never know if he's banged up dealing with stuff. But I need to see how these other guys, those rookies I mentioned, Xavier Hutchinson, the tight end Dalton Schultz, how they'll look out there, if they can get open fast enough for CJ Stroud to get the ball out, because I think he's going to be under pressure a lot. I'm thinking it's going to be how the Seahawks are getting after him. I can definitely see the Broncos doing the same type of things. And then are the Texans going to be able to run the ball? They were able to run the ball a little bit better against the Niners last week. Chubb had about 50 yards rushing. Woody Marks was able to do his thing as well. Is this going to be the same case against the Broncos? I'm not too sure, man. Like I said, that Broncos defense ain't nothing to play with. I'm kind of leaning with you on this one. I think the Broncos will win this one. It's just, as far as quarterbacks, I like Stroud more than I like Bo Nix. But that Broncos defense, I think overall the Broncos have a better team. So I got to lean towards the Broncos in this one. But I think this is going to be one of the better games, in my opinion. It might be kind of like a slow, ugly affair. I think both of these defenses are going to be able to do some things out there, which is not pretty football, but I like defensive games and big plays happening on the defense side of the ball. But I got to lean towards the Broncos in this one, man, but we'll see what happens.
Sure. Got several other week 9 games on the calendar this weekend. Bears at Bengals, Vikings at Lions, Chargers at Titans, 49ers at Giants, Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. In the late window, Jags and Raiders, Saints and Rams. And again, it'll wrap up in Arlington, Texas, Cardinals and Cowboys, Monday Night Football. Bye week is Cleveland Browns, the Jets, Eagles, and Bucks are all off. But which of these games, Ed, are you looking forward to?
Definitely like divisional matchups. So Vikings at the Lions. JJ McCarthy's coming back. Definitely want to see how he looks out there against those Lions. Gotta watch Monday Night Football. I hope the Cowboys get embarrassed again. That'd be great to see. Was it last year? Maybe it was a couple years ago. The Cowboys were, kind of on a roll, and the Cardinals came to town. It might have been early in the season, and they beat them. I think they rushed for 200 yards or something on them, and it was just a great, great win. I remember that patented, Stephen A. laughing clip coming out. So hoping to see more of that. I'm keeping an eye on Indianapolis all this year, taking on Pittsburgh. Let's see how Tyler Warren does against Pittsburgh after they let Tucker Kraft look like the greatest tight end in the world against them. Definitely going to watch that. And then 49ers at Giants, man. The Giants losing Scatterbo. They lost Malik Neighbors early this year. Who's going to be the guy that steps on for Jackson Dart and crew? Will it be Wan'Dale Robinson? Darius Slayton's all right. They got Tyrone Tracy. He was pretty good last year, so we'll see who's going to step up for them on the offensive side of the ball. Those are the games I'm most looking forward to. What about you?
Bears and Bengals, Chicago, I need y'all to rebound and get this W, help out the Ravens in the AFC North. Vikings and Lions, Minnesota got swept last year by the Lions, so they got to figure out a way to get over the hump, beat their division foe, even though they're probably out of the running to win this division. But it won't be easy for Minnesota with a sticky quarterback situation. Plus, they're going into a very hostile environment to play and win at. I think it may end up being a long game for Minnesota. As you mentioned, JJ McCarthy likely back for this one. Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, as much as I hate saying it, go Indianapolis. Another team I need to beat, a division rival to help us in the AFC North. Saints and Rams, Tyler Shook. Will he provide any type of spark for this New Orleans Saints team? Very tough place to play, very tough defense to play in your debut. Those edge rushers, something else. Cam Carroll is back there in the secondary. It may be a long day for the rookie there in the late window as well. And then Arizona and Dallas. I think Arizona, they're in for a long night there in Dallas. If Dak and CD and those guys, Javonte Williams, can get back going, because I don't think that Arizona has enough offense to keep up with Dallas. You never know these night games, but I don't think that they have enough to keep up with them. So yeah.
All right, everybody. It's time for our parlays of the week. Like I said, each week for me, man, it's get tougher and tougher. I've been damn wrong about every week besides like week 1 and 2 so far. But let me start with the Packers over the Panthers. Give me the Packers over the Panthers. I'm going to take the Patriots over the Falcons. Oh, why am I doing this? Patriots over the Falcons, Packers over the Panthers. Give me the Rams over the Saints. I think that might get ugly fast. And give me the Lions over the Vikings. So I got the Rams, the Lions, the Packers, and the Patriots. Brandon, who you got for your parlay of the week?
I like Green Bay over Carolina, the Rams over New Orleans, going against a rookie quarterback at home. Yeah. And then Dallas over Arizona. I think Arizona's in for a very long night there, Monday Night Football. Green
Yes,
Bay,
sir.
Los Angeles Rams, and Dallas.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for another episode of the Breaking and Entering podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in and watching our show. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You can find us Breaking and Entering podcast, B&E podcast. And as you can see, scrolling across the screen here, follow us on X or Twitter, podcast B&E, or on Instagram, B&E podcast. Y'all stay safe out there. As always, we talked about it last week, prayers through Jamaica, that Category 5 hurricane that went down there. Rest in peace to the lives that were lost out there, and hopefully they can recover from that, and the rest of the Caribbean islands that are dealing with that weather as well. But y'all be safe out there. We'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.